Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Committee on Public Finance. We have two matters to discuss today. One is the regulations made under the SDP Act. And the second one is update on the casino regulator. What we'll do is we'll take the SDP amendment first because it's a relatively minor matter. And then those who are here specifically for that can excuse themselves, and then we'll take the second matter, which is the casino regulator. Before we start, could I ask each one of you, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce yourselves for the record?
Yeah, I'll start, Chair. State Counsel Raju Kaluvihare from the Attorney General's Department.
Good afternoon, sir. I am Director General, Telecommunication Regulatory Commission of Sri Lanka.
Name, please.
I am retired Air Vice Marshal Bandula Herath. Sorry.
Deputy Secretary of the Treasury.
Vasantha Navaratna Mandara, President's Council, Chairman GRA, Gambling Regulatory Authority.
I'm Gaya Adhikari, sir, Acting Director General for the Gambling Regulatory Authority.
Sajya Ratnawardena, Deputy Commissioner General, Inland Revenue Department.
Kumar Dharmawardena, Deputy Commissioner General, Inland Revenue Department.
I am Nandan Kumara, Commissioner, Inland Revenue Department.
Good afternoon, sir. Dulinda Pereira, Member, Gambling Regulatory Authority.
I am Sarath Nonis, Member, Gambling Regulatory Authority.
Sachinthi Nilwakka, Assistant Director, Ministry of Finance.
Madhusha Basnayaka, Secretary of Gambling Regulatory Authority.
R. Mahinda, Deputy Commissioner, Inland Revenue Department.
Taraka Jayasundara, Assistant Director, Department of Fiscal Policy.
Anjalika Gunasekara, Atireka Adhyakshaka General, Rajya Moola Pratipatti Department. Good afternoon, sir. I am Kokiladi Alvis, Director Corporate Affairs, Ministry of Finance.
I am Darshan Ratnayaka, Director Corporate Affairs, Ministry of Finance.
Priyanka Samaravira, Executive Director, Investment Promotion, Board of Investment.
Ganga Perakatia, Director, Investment Promotion from BOI.
Right. Then shall we take the first matter? Regulations under the SDP Act. Who is presenting it, please? ගරු අනුර කුමාර දිසානායක මුදල් ක්‍රම සම්පාදන හා ආර්ථික සංවර්ධන අමාත්‍යතුමා තමයි මේක ඉදිරිපත් කරන්නේ. කවුද එහු වෙනුවෙන් අද අපේ කමිටුවට මේක පැහැදිලි කරන්නේ? Those who are arriving now, please identify yourselves and take a seat. Mic එක දෙන්න.
Wani Gunratna, Secretary to the Commission, PRC. Yes, madam, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Permission from Honourable Chair and Honourable MPs. I'm Tharaka Jayasundara from the Department of Fiscal Policy. So let me start off. I'll be discussing the regulations under the Strategic Development Projects Act number 14 of 2008. The Gazette Notification number 2472/66 dated February 8, 2026. So this particular gazette was issued under Section 4F, read with Section 3 of the Strategic Development Projects Act, the Principal Act, that was amended by the Strategic Development Projects Amendment Act, number 26 of 2025, which was issued last year.
And the major difference between the 8 and 25 acts are?
We have incorporated some amendments.
What are the key amendments?
The most major one was that this particular Section 4F, the Principal Act, didn't actually allow for the issuance of regulations. So in this new act, we incorporated that particular provision so that the incentives and the eligibility criteria for projects could be issued in the form of a gazette.
So that means it went from a discretionary position that the minister had the power to a more rules-based structure.
Exactly, yes. And also we incorporated these monitoring procedure into the new act. There's an ex-post evaluation and an ex-ante evaluation included in the new act. Those were essentially, like you said, Honourable Chair, it was to allow for a more rule-based and more transparent criteria.
I welcome the Inspector General of Police to our committee. We've never had an IGP come here before. I was wondering whether you come to arrest me or something. Right, okay.
So moving on. So the main policy objectives of this particular gazette, it's twofold. The first one is we wanted to prescribe the eligibility criteria using which we can identify any project as a strategic development project. And also the second objective was to specify the applicable tax exemptions and concessions, including the number of years of tax holiday, CIT tax holiday period. So those were the two main policy objectives of this particular gazette. So if I take you through an overview of the gazette, simply put, we have different tiers of investment.
Just 1 minute. So what you're saying is in the 25 amendment, regulations were drafted and approved, or this is the first time?
This is the very first regulation we have issued under the amended act.
Okay.
Very first one, yeah. So this was actually published issued on the 8th of February 2026.
So I have a question. So if it was amended in 25 and it went from a discretionary to a rules-based structure, were there any projects that were approved under the Principal Act between
After
25 and now?
No, not yet. Not as far as I know. No.
So,
BOI is here, they can clarify, but nothing so far.
So not a single SDP project was approved since 25?
No, so the Act amendment was passed on the 17th of December 2025 by the Speaker, but until the issuance of the regulation, this particular regulation we are discussing, without an eligibility or the incentive criteria, the BOI couldn't practically do anything.
Got it.
So to start off with an overview of the gazette, so basically we have divided the incentive structure into sectors. As you can see, starting off with infrastructure, services and utilities, tourism and leisure. Tourism and leisure, of course, excluding any casinos and any form of betting and gaming, which you can't give tax incentives for. And then the investment, it's based on all tax incentives granted will be based on the investment in US dollar millions and the minimum local job creation. Those two are the criteria we have highlighted in the gazette. So more than 50 but less than 150. But the particular wording of the gazette was slightly different. If I read it out from the gazette itself, it says more than 50 but not exceeding 150. That is, it can be equal to 150 but not more than that. If it's the job creation is 100 or more, then you get a CIT holiday period of 6 years. And then if the investment is between 150 and not exceeding 300, the CIT holiday period is 8 years. And then if the investment is more than 300 million, then you get a tax holiday period of 10 years. This is this is actually the category A of the eligibility criteria. Category B is manufacturing. If the investment is more than 50 but not exceeding 100, the employment, the minimum local job creation requirement for this particular category is 250. So based on that, you have, if your investment is between 50 and 100, you get a CIT holiday period of 5 years. If your investment is between 100, is more than 100 but not exceeding 150, you get a tax holiday period of 8 years. If the investment is more than 150 million, you get a tax holiday period of 10 years. This is category B. Moving on to last category, category C, which is agriculture, educational, technological establishments, information communication technology. So again, if the investment is more than 50 but not exceeding 100, and your local job creation is more than 50, then you get a CIT tax holiday period of 5 years. If it's 100 to 150 million investment, then 8 years. And then if the investment is in excess of 150 USD million, you get a tax holiday period of 10 years. Apart from these corporate income tax exemptions that I took you through earlier, this particular gazette allows for CID, VAT, PAL and cess exemptions as well. CID to mean customs import duty, VAT value added tax, and PAL ports and airports development levy, and cess which is imposed under the Sri Lanka Export Development Act. So for the during the project implementation period, for only for the importation of capital goods and construction material, companies will be allowed a CID, VAT, PAL and cess exemption. This exemption will not be valid for the importation of motor vehicles which are intended for travelling or personal use. So that is essentially the overview of the Gazette notification.
My first question is Secretary DST. Last week we approved some exemptions for Port City. Okay? And they are different to this. So I just want to understand why that is. I mean, Port City, there are 4 categories, up to 100, up to 500, up to 1 billion. And you get different types of exemptions. And each one you have to employ 300 people. But you get 10 years to 15 years. And for the marina, you have a different structure that you get 8 years and that you can get with 25 million investment. But here, there are so many different categories, subcategories, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, 5 years. I mean, on what is the rationale behind it? One is, you know, how do you, so why 300, you know? Why not 100, 500 and 1 billion like the Port City? I mean, would an investor who's coming into Sri Lanka be confused? Or I'm just asking you what the rationale is, if there is one.
So if I may, on behalf of DST, if I can answer that. The Port City regulation, I have a copy of it here with me. That also, the regulation contains categories of investment. There also we have category A, B, C and D. We actually had 4 categories of investment based on investment amount. and like you said, the marina, that was category D, marina or social infrastructure, and the employment opportunities there were different. Essentially, this difference comes from this category A, B, C, D was essentially for primary businesses of strategic importance. So there was a difference in the sense that I'm sure the Commission would have been in a better position to explain, but these categories of investment were aimed at the primary businesses which essentially need to do the building work, the construction work of they actually had to build the port city, more or less. So when we were here also, as you can see, we had 3 categories, A, B and C. The difference is, of course, the A, B, C, we have further clarified into sectors as infrastructure, services and utilities and tourism. Those sectors were decided based on past investments that were made with BOI. But the categories, they remain in both SDP and port city investments.
I think I'll probably clarify the question, probably, if you may. So, infrastructure investment in mainland and port city is now different in terms of tax holidays, right? Yeah. And say service like IT. So there's a difference between whether you set up in the mainland or in the BOI. I think that is what we need to understand. Is there a difference or has there been synergized? There is a difference, but I do think that the difference comes from in the sense that BOI companies are more oriented towards the domestic market investments, whereas just off the top of my head, the port city would be export.
Top of my head, it is not.
Yeah.
There's nothing to say that BOI is domestic.
Yeah. Just the probably difference is what's in the port city is 100% exports. What's in the mainland, 80% exports, 20% local.
Let's take an example. Let's say you're an ICT company wanting to invest $50 million, say $60 million in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
How do you decide?
Where does she go? Does she go to the port city or does she come to the BOI? And why?
So what was the investment amount?
$60 million.
60 million. Under the port city, you would not be eligible to make an investment because you need an investment of at least minimum investment of USD 100 million. So under the port city, that particular company will not be eligible.
No, that is not correct because that person will be eligible under the secondary BSI under port city.
Not as a primary BSI, yes.
We are not asking, they are not concerned whether what our definitions are, no. There is a ICT company. She comes to Colombo. She wants to invest $60 million. My question is quite simple. Would she come to the port city or would she go to the BOI? And depending on the answer, why?
So secondary BSI in port city, what would they get?
So they'll get 7.5% CIT, a concessionary CIT rate of 7.5% for 4 years. And also they will get exemptions under the customs ordinance, Ports and Airports Development Levy and Sri Lanka Export Development Act. They'll be eligible for those exemptions during the project implementation period, but afterwards they'll be getting 7.5% of CIT concession for 4 years only.
So I won't go to port city. Simple.
IT
Because
company.
I get 6 years outside.
So why the difference? So my question is, part 1 is where would you go, and part 2, what is your logic for that? Assume this company is not going to build a data center. Data centers you can't build with, you can build a data center with $60 million. Roughly a data center costs around $50-60 million, right? So if that person is not willing to, then are we creating an artificial bias towards the BOI or the Port City Commission, I mean, there is no right or wrong answer here. I'm just asking you what, you all are the ones who came up with these policies, both these, because the Port City Commission has no authority. It is the Treasury that provides tax incentives.
Chairman, I think the discussion is around service businesses and
Mhm.
infrastructure. Because anyway, manufacturing, agriculture and tourism will have to sit anyway outside.
Manufacturing has a bias against manufacturing. I want to know why. Because if your infrastructure, utilities, tourism or leisure, and you invest, let's say you're 60 million, you get 6 years of tax holidays.
And manufacturing is 5.
Manufacturing is 5. Why is that? Agriculture is also 5. Why you biasing against manufacturing? Because manufacturing can't go to Port City. Manufacturing has to go outside Port City because Port City is a special economic zone for services. And the manufacturing can only come under BOI. So in that case, why you discriminating against manufacturing?
I mean, Honorable Chair, it starts with 5 years, but
No.
still you can go to 5, 8 and 10 years.
No, it starts with 6 years if you put up a tourism or leisure business.
Yeah, for category A investments, it starts with 6 years.
So why not for manufacturing? It's the same amount.
Perhaps BOI can comment on this.
Can BOI explain the rationale for
Please.
because when you say strategic, we need to prioritize some areas, so we need to support certain areas.
I mean, we are talking about manufacturing economy. If you want a manufacturing economy, නිෂ්පාදන ආර්ථිකයක් අවශ්‍ය නම්, ඒ නිෂ්පාදන ආර්ථිකයක් හදන්න කර්මාන්තයක් කරනකොට ඒකට දෙන බදු නිසාද අවුරුදු 5කුත් හෝටලයක් හදනවා නම් ඒකට බදු නිසාද අවුරුදු 6කුත් දෙන්නේ. මොකද්ද ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ ලොජික් එක?
Who's from BOI? BOI කවුරුත් නැද්ද?
Just one clarification, these tax holidays including the first year or after operations?
The CIT
No,
exemption,
the income tax.
that will be after commercial operations.
After commercial, so
Yeah.
after you build, and
After
do
you
we give
start
a
your
build
business.
timeline?
Yes, there's a project implementation period.
And after that you get 6 years?
Yeah, but unlike in Port City where the project implementation period is specifically given,
Yeah.
here it's up to the BOI. Their certificate of completion, that is sufficient.
From there onwards you get the exemption?
Yes.
So it's a long
We saw the central bank walk in late. Would you please be kind enough to introduce yourselves for the record? Oh, mic එක දෙන්න.
Sorry for the delay, Chairman. I'm Inoka Mohotti, Assistant Governor.
I'm Subhani Kirtiratna, Director FIU, Board Member GRA.
I'm Mansha Ratnayaka, Senior Assistant Director, FIU, Central Bank. Maheshika Pereira, Senior Assistant Director, Financial Intelligence Unit.
Thank you. Yes, we go back to the question. ඇයි මේ වෙනස? මොකක්ද ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ ලොජික් එක මැනුෆැක්චරින් වලට අවුරුදු 5ක් ටැක්ස් නිදහස දෙන්නත් සේවා වලට අවුරුදු 6කට නිදහස බදු නිදහසක් දෙන්නත් අපිට දැනගන්න ඕනේ ලොජික් එක මොකක්ද කියලා. එකම ප්‍රමාණය තමයි ආයෝජනය කරන්නේ. එකම මේ ප්‍රමාණය තමයි ආයෝජනය කරන්නේ. අනිත් එක මැනුෆැක්චරින් වලින් 250ක් හය කරේ නැත්නම් පුද්ගලයෝ මොකක්වත් හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. සර්විසස් නම් 100ක් හය කරත් අවුරුදු 6ක් ලැබෙනවා.
The 250, the local job creation difference, it's, I think from our discussions with BOI, our understanding was that manufacturing is a more labor intensive industry.
Twice and a half?
of course, this is a minimum local job creation throughout the project period. We have not specified a particular project period. So on that, at least I think it's definitely attainable.
The problem there is that manufacturing can come in high tech also, like microchips and stuff, right? So their investment will be high, but they will never create 250 jobs.
Lot of robotics and all that.
The world is moving into more automated industries, even in manufacturing. So the output will be manufacturing categorized, but you won't create such number of labor going forward. So having a higher criteria for manufacturing is little unfair per se.
And also you're looking at productivity improvements, no? I mean, if you're looking at productivity improvements, you want technology to come in. So by this, you are actually incentivizing
more labor incentive.
That's right. You're not incentivizing productivity with this categorization. But ඒක නෙවෙයි දෙවෙනි ප්‍රශ්නේ කරුණාකරලා කවුරු හරි අපිට උත්තරයක් දෙන්නකෝ පළවෙනි ප්‍රශ්නෙට. ඇයි කියලා මැනුෆැක්චරින් වලට අවුරුද්දකට සැලකිලි. හා? මම අහන්නේ මෙතන ඉන්න නිලධාරීන්ගේ.
තමයි කවුරුද?
මම දන්නේ කවුද ලිව්වේ කියලා මේක.
Either Ministry of Finance has to answer, no?
I think Ministry of Finance has to finally answer, no?
Yeah. අද BOI එකට කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ නේ. මම අහන්නේ simple ප්‍රශ්න.
No, maybe whether BOI recommended, we don't know.
So BOI is here, no?
What was the recommendation from BOI?
Actually, for infrastructure projects, that is for higher investment, that we gave for ask for higher incentive. For example, if that goes up to 150 for the initial slab, and it goes up to 300. So based on that investment threshold that we suggest.
No, that is clear for everything. Any category over 150, you get a 8-year and a 10-year if it's 300. This is looking at the first category. 50 to 150,
yes,
services and tourism will get a 6. Manufacturing and agriculture will get a 5. So we are just asking what is the basis.
Manufacturing and agriculture, it's actually 50 to 100. The investment amounts are different.
The same, no, for manufacturing.
No, it's 50 to 100.
No, infrastructure, tourism is also 50 to 100. Agriculture is also 50 to 100.
Even a tech company will get a 6.
Infrastructure is 50 to 150.
No, we are talking about the first category, ma'am. So
yeah,
we are saying $60 million. No, our question is $60 million.
Yes.
Which is between 50 and 100.
So if I bring $60 million for tourism, I'll get a 6-year. If I bring $60 million for manufacturing, I'll get a 5-year. That's what he was asking.
Yeah, it was decided on based on the investment band actually. It was, see, 50 to in category A, the investments are 50 to 150, 150 to 300, and then 300.
Madam, we are asking if it is a 60 million investment.
60 million, then of course, if it's an infrastructure project, then yes, it will be 6 years.
And also again, you know, if you are a tech company, you get only 5 years for 60 million.
No.
Yeah.
Tech
Category
company,
C,
yes,
tech
5
company
years.
only 5 years. I mean, I see a terrible miscalculation there. I don't know. I mean, it's your policy. But as a, as a person sitting here without any political bias, if we want manufacturing to come, I don't think we should discriminate manufacturing. That's my take is that. I don't know how the other members of this committee feel.
I also feel the same.
I think that we should be justifying the.
No, there should be a rationale.
Rationale එකක් නැහැ නේ. නියෝජනයකන්තුම ඔබතුමාට rationale එකක් නැහැ නේ මේකට.
මෙහෙම වෙනස් වීමට හේතුවක් මොකක් හරි සාධාරණ හේතුවක් කිව්වනම් අපිට.
The question that I have is when you say strategic investment, is strategic investment also, are we looking at the number of the investment and the head count still? Like historically Sri Lanka has been looking at that. But when you mean by strategic investment, isn't it a sector that we want to drive? Boating sector, the semiconductor sector, some high-end technology. Isn't that what we should be incentivizing? Because we are still saying any manufacturing, you can do brooms and brushes, you still get it. But is that what Sri Lanka wants going forward? I don't know. Sri Lanka wants high-end per head value per salary $600 plus investments to come. So how do we incentivize that through a strategic? What do you mean by strategic investment? I am trying to figure out, because you said that strategic investments will be defined through this one objective is to prescribe what is a strategic investment. So what do Sri Lanka mean by a strategic investment? Is little bit unclear for me.
ඔව් නෑ මෙහෙමනේ දැන් ওই ස්ට්‍රැටජික් ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට් එක ගේනකොට බැසිල් ඇමතුමාගේ අදහස උනේ ස්කයිලයින් වෙනස් වෙන කතාවක්. එහෙම තමයි ඉස්සල්ලාම ඔකට ශාංග්‍රීලායකට දුන්නේ. හරි ඒතකොට ඒක ඒ වෙලාවේ ජස්ටිෆයි වුණා ඒ විදිහට අවුරුදු 25. හරි උතරින් ඔක ආවේ. හරි එතකොට මෙතන උනේ IMF එක කිව්වා දේශපාලඥයාට පුළුවන් නම් අවුරුදු 25ද 40ද කියලා
fair enough. I think that's a good one. But the rules when we create,
ඒක තමයි
we should strategically look at it. No.
Correct. එතකොට දැන් මෙතන වෙලා තියෙන්නේ ඒ ඩිස්ක්‍රිප්ෂන් එක වෙනකොට රූල් එකක් ගන්න තියෙනවා. මේ රූල් එක ඇතුලේ අපිට පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ ඩිස්ක්‍රයිබ් කරන්න මොකද්ද කියලා ස්ට්‍රැටජි එක නේ.
අපි හිතමු drone manufacturing හරි high end green energy manufacturing හරි මොන හරි අපි ඉතිරි අවුරුදු 20 දී ලෝකේ ඉල්ලන දෙයක් ලංකාවට කවුරු හරි ගේනවා නම් අපි යාට 10 නෙමෙයි 15 නෙමෙයි මම හිතන්නේ 20ක් දුන්නා කමන්නේ නැහැ ලොජික් එකක් එක්ක. දැන් මේකේ තියෙන විදිහට මොකක් හරි වගා කරොත් කෙහෙල් වගා කරත් අඹ වගා කරත් වට්ටක්ක වගා කරත් ඇග්‍රිකල්චර් නම් 10ක් හම්බෙනවා. එහෙම බෑනේ yield එක බලන්න ඕනේ per square feet මේ වර්ගඩි ප්‍රමාණය ඵලදායීතාව බලන්න ඕනේ.
මෙතන
එකෙන් ජෙනරේට් වෙන රෙවෙනියු එක බලන්න ඕනේ GDP එකේ per head ඒක contribution එක බලන්න. මොකද අපිට ඉඩක් නැහැ. අපිට තියෙන ඉතාමත් සීමිත ඉඩම් ප්‍රමාණය. අපි මේ සීමිත ඉඩම් ප්‍රමාණය ආයේ බෙදලා දැම්මොත් එහෙම මේ වටිනාකම සලකලා බලලා මම නම් හිතන්නේ මේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙයි අපිට රටක් විදියට.
මෙහෙම දෙයක් තියෙනවා ගරු ඇමතුමා මේකේ තියෙනවා ඒ කියන්නේ මතවාදය පිළිබඳවත් මෙතන තියෙනවා යම්කිසි තේරුම් ගැනීමක් අවශ්‍යයි. ඒ කියන්නේ නව ලිබරල් ආර්ථික ප්‍රතිපත්තියක් යටතේ වෙළඳපොළ තමයි තීරණය කරන්නේ. එතකොට රජයට කිසි ඇඟිලි ගැසිල්ලක් නැහැ. හැබැයි කාර්මික කාරණයක් යටතේ ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රියල් පොලිසි එකක් යටතේ යම්කිසි විදියකට රාජ්‍යයකට පුළුවන් ඒ පැත්තට හෝ මේ පැත්තට හෝ ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට් එකක්
තල්ලු කරන්න. That's why you give incentive න.
ඔව් එතකොට
incentive free market is there.
Yeah. එහෙමනම් මේක හොඳට අහගන්න. එහෙමනම් මේක ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රියල් පොලිසි එකක යටතේ නම් මේ ඉන්සෙන්ටිව් දෙන්නේ. හරි? නව ලිබරල් එකේ යටතේත් දෙන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙමනම් හැමෝටම එක වෙන්න ඕන. ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රියල් පොලිසි එක යටතේ දෙනවා නම් එක් එක්කෙනාට වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙමනම් ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රියල් පොලිසි එක තියෙන්නේ නිෂ්පාදනය ගේන්නද නිෂ්පාදනය එළියෙන් තියන්නද? දැන් මේකේ පේන විදියට ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රියල් පොලිසි කණ්ණාඩියක් යටතේ තමයි මේක කරලා තියෙන්නේ. නමුත් ඒකෙන් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන නිෂ්පාදන ආර්ථිකය ශක්තිමත් කරනවා වෙනුවට අධෛර්යමත් කිරීම. ඒක තමයි මගේ කියවීම.
ඒක මගේ පොයින්ට් එක නම් ස්ට්‍රැටජික් කියන එක ඩිෆයින් වෙන්න ඕනේ.
ඔව් ඒක ජෙනරල් පොයින්ට් එක.
ගත්තොත් අපි දන්නවා අපි එක්ස්පෝර්ට් ගත්තොත් අපේ එක්ස්පෝර්ට් බාස්කට් එක කොම්ප්ලෙක්සිටි එක අඩුම රටක් අපි. වියට්නාම් තමයි කොම්ප්ලෙක්සිටි එක වැඩිම රටක්. අපි එක්ස්පෝර්ට් ස්ට්‍රැටජි එක හැදුවේ කොම්ප්ලෙක්සිටි එක වැඩි කරන්න කියලා. කොම්ප්ලෙක්සිටි එක වැඩි කරන්න නම් කොම්ප්ලෙක්සිටි එක වැඩි කරන ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට්ස් වලට වැඩි ඉන්සෙන්ටිව් එකක් එන්න ඕනේ මැනුෆැක්චරින් බාස්කට් එක ඇතුලේ. ඇග්‍රිකල්චර් එකෙත් ඇග්‍රිකල්චර් විතරක් නෙමෙයි ඇග්‍රිකල්චර් ප්ලස් වැලියු ඇඩිෂන් එනවා නම් එයාට ටිකක් උස ඉන්සෙන්ටිව් එකක් දෙන්න. මේකේ ඩෙෆිනිෂන් එක ටිකක් වේග් මේ broad වැඩි කියලා තමයි මට
There's actually an approval process that is included in the Act Amendment. Ex ante evaluation, cost benefit analysis that should be conducted by the Minister of Finance with the technical inputs from BOI before any concessions are granted. So of course that particular criteria has not been decided yet. So I'm sure we can going forward if we can add perhaps a qualitative parameter to indicate the strategic value. But the difficulty of course lies in how to define the strategic value. I'm sure Honourable Chair and Honourable MP will agree. In the past there have been cases where certain projects were given STP status, but from the offset looking at it, it's rather difficult to define what was strategic about it. So essentially, although this is a rather very simple eligibility criteria, the main objective of course was to remove that discretionary power And with that, of course, that what you are
Agreed.
saying also happens. I agree with that.
No, we agree on that. There
Yeah.
is two questions I think that's been raised by the committee. One is why services get a 6-year and a manufacturing get a 5 years. So that's something to think about.
Yeah.
Second is when we say strategic direction. Say for example, tourism. What is the type of tourism we are promoting? Eco, sustainable, high-end tourism, luxury tourism.
Yeah.
If that is the case, someone doing a basic hotel versus circular hotel should get a difference.
Yeah, definitely.
And
yes.
manufacturing also should have the same.
Yeah.
Agriculture also should have the same. So maybe there will be sub evaluations that you can
Yeah,
do.
in the approval process.
But what
yeah.
I'm trying to say is let's not park the entire decision on the investment value and the head count.
Yeah, that is
Because
understood.
those two are very arcane old
Yeah.
criteria that we looked at the world. Sometimes you can create a IP using 10 people, which
yes.
can create us a unicorn, right?
Yeah.
So then when you ask the IT company to hire 100 people, they might say we don't need to hire 100 people. We can create larger this thing. So I think we might have to bring more and more. I think since the Act gives you that privilege to issue circulars
Yeah.
and change,
Yes.
I think just taking this feedback, think of that angle.
Who is deciding the subsequent eligibility criteria?
The eligibility criteria, what was published
No,
already?
before the
Before this,
yeah, the
there was,
permission is granted. You said there's some.
There's an approval process, yes.
No, but this is the law, madam. This is the law.
So even let's say even if a company, in theory, let's say a company investing $60 million comes into Sri Lanka, but they are doing a very generic and very archaic business that is of no use to the economy at all. Then during the approval process,
නෑ ඒක තමයි discretion එකට යනවා කියන්නේ. උතර තමයි rent seek වෙන්නේ.
Go back to the same.
Same
Yeah.
thing.
But
එතකොට
there's
දන්න අඳුරන කට්ටියටයි ඒ කට්ටියට එක එකව දෙනවා.
Then somebody will decide this is
Somebody
required.
decide. Who
but-
gonna decide?
No, the thing is there's a formal ex-ante cost-benefit analysis that needs to be conducted. So during those, we can incorporate parameters that will reflect the value
So,
that
but
will
then
be created.
That has to be issued alongside this.
I agree with the minister. You're actually creating a haze around the predictability, right? Because you're not sure.
No, I think, Chairman, the thing is this is a law. So if somebody, whoever comes with this criteria, you will have to give. You can't say no, they'll
Yeah,
go
you
to
can't.
courts. Because you can't say my project is economically viable or not.
In the Act, there's a provision for a cost-benefit analysis.
මේක නෑනේ.
That
මේක
is the
තියෙනවා.
regulation. In the Principal Act, there is.
ඉතින් principal act එකේ
It goes back to the minister if it's regulation.
No, I mean මම කියන්නේ දැන් මෙතන මොකද ඒක principal enactment එකේ කොතනද
It's,
තියෙන්නේ? මොන පිටේද?
there's a ex post evaluation under section 4.
Post නෙමෙයි ex ante කියලා කිව්වේ.
So there's section 3, identification of strategic development project. 3.1.
පොඩකින්. 3.1 හරි.
The Board of Investment of Sri Lanka shall, subject to the criteria as may be prescribed, which is the one we are discussing right now, identify any proposed project as a strategic development project. And then 2, upon being identified the proposed project as a strategic development project, the Board of Investment of Sri Lanka shall refer such project proposal to the Ministry of Finance for ex-ante cost-benefit analysis. And then 3, the Minister of Finance shall, with the technical input from the Board of Investment of Sri Lanka, carry out such ex-ante cost-benefit analysis of the project and submit a recommendation to the Board of Investment of Sri Lanka within 1 month from the date of such reference under subsection 2.
Yeah, but the basic condition is what you are presenting today.
Yeah, that has to be met. Yes, definitely.
No, you are saying even they meet the investment criteria and the headcount criteria, it might not get approved.
Yeah, it might not get approved.
That's what you're saying.
Yes.
So there you can add all these conditions for strategic.
Of course,
defining what strategic.
I mean, the intention would be to make it rule-based still. Otherwise, because like Honorable Chair said,
No, it won't happen. I'll tell you why. Because your second condition are 300 jobs, right? I mean, look at where the world is moving, right? So your second condition are 250 jobs. You're an IT company or whatever, right?
No, IT is only 50.
Okay, 50.
Yeah.
Let's say
Manufacturing is the highest, 250.
250, right?
Yeah.
You are bringing some manufacturing. Unless you have 250 employees, you won't meet the minimum criteria, no?
No. You will not be eligible.
Yeah. So this is my proposal, committee. My proposal is we hold this and ask you all to relook at. I take your point that you can bring further regulations to specify what is strategic and what is not strategic. I grant you that.
Yeah.
But the basic one of the discrimination against manufacturing, I think if we go ahead and approve this, I think we are doing the wrong thing. And honestly, I don't want to do it.
Do you have any view?
If they can provide the rationale.
Even if they
What's
provide the
the
kind, what
urgency
is the
of this
rationale?
bill?
Huh?
What's the urgency of this bill?
7 වෙනිදාද ගේන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට වෙලා තියෙනවා අපි ඊට කලින් ඕනනම් ගන්න.
Yeah, we can take it another. Do you agree? There needs to be some thought given, no? You agree, right? So one is, see, maybe we can have an annex to say, okay, what is this evaluation that we are going to do? Second thing is, my reservation is on the 250 head count, as the chair said. Say that we are doing manufacturing output is a, what do you call, a seed, a lab. It's still considered manufacturing, right? So you don't need for such kind of a laboratory 250 people. So then it won't fall under any strategic category. It won't fall under
some of these investments will fall under technological establishments as well.
Yeah.
We have a category specific sector specifically defined for that. Here manufacturing, perhaps the definition of manufacturing is not very clear.
Yeah.
But we have included a provision sector for
No, what I'm trying to say is
educational.
when you say manufacturing is too broad.
Yeah.
And then when you say technology, that's also too broad.
Technological establishments.
So when you say technology, it can be software, it can be research, it can be R&D.
So the sectors were kept broad on purpose to accommodate as many businesses as possible.
So when you kept it broad, but
Yeah.
you have narrowed it with the head count.
With the employment, job creation.
So that's the
yes.
thing. Maybe we can leave it at 50 to 200. So based on the evaluation, you can decide. There's no
Perhaps
problem.
one-
So here you are carving it out, no? So then
Yeah.
you can't amend that in time to come. So if you leave it 100 to 250, so there's a leeway that you can judge using your analysis. Chairman, would that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. And also අනිත් එක දැන් අපි කිව්වොත් BOI එකේ normal projects තියෙනවානේ. මේ SDP නැති project. දැන් SDP නැති මිලියන් 60ක් ගෙනාවොත් කවුරු හරි ඒ පුද්ගලයාට මොනවද ලැබෙන්නේ?
Those will be treated under the BOI law, I think.
එතකොට කියන්නකො BOI එක
මොනවාද හම්බෙන්නේ? STP වැටුනේ නැත්තම්?
දැන් හිතන්න අපි BOI එකේ ඩොලර් මිලියන 60ක් අරන් එනවා මේ මොන හරි මැෂින් එකක් හදන්න. හරි? මකන් මැෂින් එකක් හදන්න එනවා කියමුකෝ. BOI එකට එනවා. එතකොට මට මොනවද දෙන්නේ?
Under BOI law, what is available right at the moment is the custom duty exemption that we can grant. For example, if it is an export-oriented company, we can give custom duty exemption for the capital goods as well as the raw materials. Otherwise, we can give the custom duty exemption for the during the project implementation period. That is the only concession that is available at the moment.
Income tax.
Under the IR Act, of course, we can give the enhanced capital allowance for the project. At the moment, it is 3 million, but with the recent amendment, it would be 250,000.
Yeah, so capital allowance only, there won't be a income tax waiver, right? That's the thing.
Capital allowance එක කොච්චර කාලයකටද?
That's
It
200.
depends on the expenditure incurred on the
That 250 million ඒ කියන්නේ pull back
First
එකක්
year,
නේද?
They can reduce their profit from
ඔව් ඒක තමයි. ඒක අවුරුදු කීයකටද? ඒ 250ම ඉවර වෙනකම්.
Yes.
අවුරුදු 5ද 10ද
It
එහෙම
can be
ගන්න.
carried forward up to 10 years.
Carry forward ඒක තමයි මම අහන්නේ. Up to 10 years.
Up to 10 years.
එතකොට profit තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Profit තියෙන්න ඕනේ අවුරුදු 10ක්.
No, it's similar.
Yes.
හරි. Actually, I favor that than this because then that is specific.
So these companies won't get that advanced tax, right? Then you will, the STPs will not get the capital
It could be
allowance.
either tax holiday or enhanced capital allowance.
Either.
Yeah.
මෙහෙමයි අපි මේක තීරණයක් ගත්තනේ නියෝජනයකතුමා ඔබතුමාලා මේක නැවත සලකලා බලලා අපිට ගේන්න මම හිතන්නේ කමිටුවේ අදහස ඔබතුමාට පැහැදිලි කාරණා දෙකක් තියෙනවා මේ අපි දැන් කතා කරපු කාරණාව සහ මේ පෝර්ට් සිටි කමිෂන් එකේ දෙන ඒවයි මෙව්වයි අතරත් වෙනසක් තියෙනවා. එහෙම වුණාම ඉන්වෙස්ටර් කෙනෙක්ට මම හිතන්නේ ක්ලැරිටි එක මදිකමක් වාගේ අපිට හැංගෙනවා. So why don't you take a look at it? You have time now, and we'll come back. Okay, so that's the decision on that. Ehemanan people who are here for the SDP Act amendment, please, DST, will you get back to our secretariat and we'll set up a date before next parliament? Okay. අපිට තව අපිට අපි බ්‍රහස්පතින්ද හම්බ වෙනවා ඊළඟට කවද හම්බ වෙන්නේ 7 වෙනිදා හම්බ වෙනවා next Tuesday
අපිට ඒ පාර්ලිමේන්තු වීක් එකේ අන්තිම දවස් උනත් ගන්න පුළුවන් ඉතින් 7ක් ඕනනම් පුළුවන්
ඔව් 7ක් ඕනනම් පුළුවන් STP එක මේ
take time and come
take time and come අපි මේ ගවර්න්මන්ට් මේ නලින්ද ජාතික සම්බන්ධතුමාගේ ඔෆිස් එකට දැනුවත් කරා.
And one more thing, I think BOI should be backing this. It should not only be the Ministry of Finance. If BOI is to what the promotion strategy is, BOI is, I think the BOI should attend to this meeting with a strong force saying this is what we asked and this is what Ministry of Finance gave. There's a gap between what both parties agreed, but we are okay to go ahead. Port City did that. They kind of presented their strategy and they said this looks good enough. I think chairman of the Port City said that with this he can drive the game with the strategy.
මම හිතන්නේ මෙහෙමයි දැන් අපේ රටට ආයෝජනය අවශ්‍යයි අපේ රටේ ආර්ථික මීට වඩා වර්ධනය වෙන්න ඕනේ අපේ රටේ නිෂ්පාදනය මදි මේ ඔක්කොම අපි සැලකිල්ලට ගමු අරගෙන ඕගොල්ලෝ පොඩ්ඩක් මීට වඩා නිකන් පොඩ්ඩක් එනර්ජි එක්ක මේක කරමු මොකද නැත්තම් මෙහෙම ගිහිල්ලා අපිට කොහෙ නතර වෙයිද කියලා මම දන්නේ නැහැ අපි එකපාරක් වැටුණවනේ වලක මේකෙන් ගොඩ එමුකෝ කරුණා කළා.
I think we are correcting one problem that is true but what I am not seeing chairman is whether we are correcting the productivity problem. The main problem with Sri Lanka is where our productivity is absolutely low. So when we drive investments we need to ensure our per head productivity and the land usage productivity has to increase through incentivizing because otherwise we still bring a few garment factories and put here nothing's going to work.
අනිත් එක බලන්න දැන් බැලුවොත් අත් වශයෙන්ම if you are reading up marginal productivity of labor කියන එක තමයි අපි වේජ් එක කියලා සලකන්නේ. හරි ඒකට තමයි අපේ ආර්ථික විද්‍යාවේ මූලධර්ම. දැන් AI එක මොකද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? එක පුද්ගලයෙක් කරන දේ දැන් AI ඒ පුද්ගලයා AI පාවිච්චි කරොත් 100 දෙනෙක් කරන දේවල් ඒ පුද්ගලයාට කරන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට අපි මේ ලෝකේ යන දිශාව ගැන පොඩ්ඩක් මේ අවධානය යොමු කරොත් අපිට පේනවා මේ දාලා තියෙන්නේ ගරු ඇමතුමා වගේ ආකේක් නීති වගේ මිනිස්සු 250ක් හයර් කරන්න කියලා. ඉස්සරහට එන කම්පැනි වල මිනිස්සු 250ක් හයර් කරන්නේ නැහැ. මිනිස්සු 25ක් හයර් කරනවා. ඒ කඩේ මේකට වඩා කියවයි. So we have to be ahead of the game.
And also chairman next time we would like to see comparatives. Now last time Port City we compared with 2 other countries. Now what is other countries giving versus what we are giving also is required to attract investments. What is Vietnam giving, what is India giving, what is Malaysia giving, and that is why we are also recommending this. So do we have a gap or not? We don't know.
We don't know.
So we need a little bit of a comparison.
Yeah, I think you officials need to be more proactive on this. You know,
that particular slide I can, of course, this is done. I actually have, but
that's fine. That's we've decided on this now. Okay, so those who are here for agenda item number 1 can excuse themselves if they so wish. Thank you very much.